Hey Trap Tribe, it's me, Ashley of Trap Pray Love. As you can see, I have a different setup, and when I say setup, I mean a microphone, and I'm feeling very pop star-like. Then a hero comes along. Hopefully it makes all of the difference because some of my videos are very loud because I have to yell. With that being said, this is part 2 of the Divine Feminine video. If you haven't watched it yet, please click the link somewhere around here. This one is a doozy, so please pour a glass of wine, get cozy, get comfortable, because we are going to get straight into this. Chapter 1. What does feminine look like? In the U.S., women are taught from early on that attractiveness should be prioritized in order to achieve social status. Pretty much being pretty is everything. Many characters in children's media exhibit the ugly duckling trope, where the main character, although smart and talented in many other ways, doesn't yet start to gain power in society until she becomes beautiful. This sends the message that pretty is not only currency, but it is better than every other thing that you have going on. And can we just talk about the Princess Diaries for a minute? Now, this is ugly Mia, and this is pretty Mia. Not much of a difference, except one is a lot closer to pretty based on Eurocentric beauty standards. I don't know why when I watched this as a little kid that I didn't really notice that. So who gets to decide what is pretty? Whoever's in charge, that is what the standard is. Hegemony is the dominance of a culturally diverse society by the ruling class who manipulates the culture of that society. The ruling class's worldview becomes the norms of society, and other social classes are compelled to adopt that same worldview. So, if the ruling class all agree that straight hair is beautiful, then the rest of the society will begin to adopt that same idea. This has happened over and over again in society. One notable example was the colonization of Native Americans in the 1800s. You've seen this before. Our kids have seen this before. Hegemony tells us what the prototype of the masculine man or the feminine woman is. Right now, the prototype for the masculine man in America is what we call the Chad. Chad is tall, white, has muscles, he's smart, makes money. You know, he's an alpha male, he's confident and assertive. But hegemonic masculinity has changed from time to time and from culture to culture. In the 1700s, it was popular for men to wear high heels and long wigs. In the 1970s, this guy could steal your girl. In Asia, Chad looks like this. But when we talk about women, Chad's female counterpart is the hegemonic feminine. This is Stacy. Stacy is blonde, soft, skinny, has large eyes and full lips, and she's also white. Now, when I bring up Stacy, I want to bring up the aesthetic of the divine feminine. If you haven't noticed, this is the divine feminine aesthetic. Is it a coincidence that the gold standard in femininity is extremely close to the Eurocentric standard of beauty, or as close to the standard that a black or brown woman can get? It's not. Chapter 2. Colorism. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. For centuries, we've been associating lighter skin, lighter tones with softness and angels, where we've been associating dark skin with devilishness and more masculine things. Some religions even preach that black people were black because they were descendants of the first biblical murderer, Cain, and God cursed him with dark skin. Needless to say, this is why we don't see a whole lot of black Mormons. But the more hurtful issue that I would like to bring light to with this issue is not only do women with darker skin get hatred and discriminated against by other communities, they also get it from within the African American community too by African American men.
I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African American women, but I just don't like my skin complexion.
Okay. Well, I like your skin complexion.
We too gutter. Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light skinned women, they most sensitive, you know?
There's some dark skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they
But why is there an inherent belief in the African American community that lighter skinned people are softer and more educated? Where does that come from? This started during the Reconstruction period of the Civil War. During the turn of the century, self-proclaimed blue vein societies in the black community sprouted up in cities all across the U.S. In order to be a member of the Blue Vein Society, you had to have light enough skin to see the blue veins run through your skin. Because many of the Blue Vein Society members were actually children and grandchildren of former white slave owners, when the federal government was giving money to black people to build and fund schools and other resources, they gave it to the lighter skinned communities. When colleges were founded, white former slave owners secretly sent money to fund the education of their biracial children and grandchildren. So the next time you wonder why HBCU founders are all pretty much white looking, it's because they are. Skinned people at the turn of the century used their proximity to whiteness to hog up all of the resources to further their own selves and promote their own agendas above other dark-skinned people. So when it was time to get a teacher job or to get enrolled into school, they had an extra boost or an advantage over someone with dark skin from their own community. So there was a point in time where there was a stigma that, oh, there is a light-skinned black person, they must be more educated, because they were playing that crazy fucking racist game. I would like to point out that this is a stereotype, and this is just where it stemmed from. Things have changed a lot in the black community since the turn of the century. However, this is where the roots of colorism started in our community. This same type of stereotype can be seen in a lot of media today when light-skinned people are depicted in movies and in radio and TV as being softer, more in touch with their emotions, and the dark-skinned person being the villain. Literally, when you think of Tyler Perry movies, the first husband or the first boyfriend is always dark-skinned and abusive, and the right guy for her, the sensitive all-around better guy for her, ends up being a light-skinned character. Why haven't we canceled Tyler Perry yet? Please. Why?
Why?
Why have we not canceled Tyler Perry yet? And why have we not canceled you? But the pattern that I'm starting to see is anytime a black woman, her style starts to deviate away from the softness and whiteness of these Eurocentric standards, she's instantly branded as masculine or manly or gutta. The aesthetic that we are all looking for is not only rooted in racism, but it's rare. Not even the creators of these thumbnails look like this. Look, here's the thumbnail and here is the creator. When you're scrolling on algorithm-based apps like Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, you may think that the content is random. However, algorithms work by taking data from whatever post you interact with. Then they show you new posts that the algorithm thinks that you may like. If this is the type of post that you double tap and like, then you'll be shown another post just like this. Then another, and pretty soon your feed is full of shit like this. This is how algorithms work. However, studies have uncovered the TikTok beauty algorithm. So people that fit the standards of this algorithm are more likely to go viral or to be recommended. This explains why every famous influencer kind of looks the same nowadays. The standard, by the way, is based on Asian and Eurocentric features. Not only will you find yourself being compared to the gold standard of the Asian Chad or the white Chad or the Asian Stacy or the white Stacy, you're also being compared to whatever filter these influencers use. So now you're going to be comparing yourself to something that's not even fucking human. And with black women, that makes it even this much harder to go viral. The average black woman has black features, but let's remember how y'all don't like them either. I'm never going to let the internet forget how y'all bullied Blue Ivy and Tiana Taylor and Ari Lennox. And it was mostly black people doing the bullying. And it's more than skin tone and features. A lot of y'all talk shit about Lizzo, but either look like Lizzo or know a lot of women that have the same body type. And before you call it unhealthy, let's just talk about the unhealthy and dangerous things that skinny people do. It's not that it's just unhealthy, just call it for what it is. You guys just don't like fat people. Not only do I stan that what I said in my last video, that the divine feminine rhetoric is just misogyny with lip gloss, I also think the beauty standards is just misogyny with colorism, fat phobia, and racism.